Good afternoon and welcome back. It is my honor to introduce Director Kristen Richards, who you met during the panel. She's with the DCO and Director of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. In this capacity, she oversees their mission to create a positive economic climate to attract job creators, support Illinois' skilled workforce, and bolster communities to provide opportunities for all Illinoisans. As director, she has partnered with the Office of the Governor and state legislature to pass sweeping enhancements to state incentives that support business attraction and development. She helps invest in programs that support Illinois' position as the #1 state for workforce in the Midwest and co-chairs the Illinois Workforce Innovation Board. She has spent more than 2 decades in government where she has garnered a reputation for solving complex issues and working closely with stakeholders to forge strong coalitions. In August of 2020, Governor Pritzker appointed her the director of the Illinois Department of Employment Security, the state agency responsible for administrating federal and state unemployment insurance programs and reemployment services for dislocated workers. In this role, she has led the state's pandemic response for Illinoisans affected by job loss and oversaw the provision of $40 billion in benefits to support Illinois households, and stood up for state and federal programs to deliver benefits to all eligible Illinoisans. She was raised in Belleville and resides in Chicago. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Richards.
That was very nice. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kristen Richards, and I'm the director of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, or DCEO. I'm so honored to be here at the Midwest Aerospace Conference. Thank you to the Rockford Area Aerospace Network, Greater Rockford Chamber of Commerce, and IMEC for hosting this exceptional event and for your continued partnership and leadership in building and growing Illinois' aerospace industry, a key pillar of the state's economy. Rockford, of course, is one of the leading aerospace employment centers in the United States, offering more than 250 aerospace companies within a 90-minute radius, along with several Tier 1 aerospace suppliers. The Rockford region is uniquely positioned to provide opportunities at all levels of the supply chain, including assembly, inspecting, testing, repair, software, and more. And from supporting the state's world-class infrastructure, which is ranked in the top 6 in the country by CNBC, to creating new, groundbreaking technologies, the aerospace industry is contributing to Illinois' record-setting economic development. The investments we make to grow our aerospace ecosystem today will pave the way for future workers, and no one knows that better than Governor Pritzker, who has made significant investments to grow this innovative industry. By expanding the Reimagining Energy and Vehicles program known as REV Illinois, which just so happens to offer the most competitive clean energy incentives in the country, the state can now provide incentives to support the manufacturing of new products, including eVTOL aircraft and propulsion systems. Illinois' competitive business incentives have supported recent industry expansions, including supporting the Gulfstream Aerospace Corporation's expansion at the St. Louis Downtown Airport in Cahokia Heights, and of course, the $2.6 million investment to further strengthen the aviation mechanic workforce pipeline in Rockford through a partnership with AAR, the Workforce Connection, Rock Valley Community College, and the Chicago Rockford International Airport. For nearly 15 years, I'm proud to say that DCO's Office of Trade and Investment has exhibited and led delegations to the Paris and Farnborough air shows. I know many of you have participated in these opportunities, and it's through them that we've supported 58 Illinois aerospace companies, many, of course, from this region, generating millions in export sales. We've successfully raised Illinois' profile to the global aerospace industry, and we, of course, hope to see some of you at the Paris Air Show in 2025. We are looking ahead through Illinois' economic growth plan that was launched in August of this year, which underscores the prioritization that will be placed on 6 key high-growth industries over the next 5 years: life sciences, quantum computing, AI, and microelectronics, advanced manufacturing, next-gen agriculture, ag tech, and food processing, transportation, distribution, and logistics, and clean energy production and manufacturing. Illinois continues to be a destination for leaders in the aerospace and aviation industry because of our talented workforce, our central location, and our superior transportation infrastructure. And the state of Illinois is truly committed to supporting this vibrant, growing industry. Now with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Governor J.B. Pritzker, who encourages all of us at the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity to think big, iterate, listen, work with you, and create programs that are enabling this rapid expansion as Illinois continues to be on the rise. Thank you very much. Governor Pritzker?
Are you taller than I am? I mean, I'm going to bring that down. There we go. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Great to see all of you. Always great to be back here in Rockford. This is one of my very favorite places to be, mainly because this region is really on the rise broadly. And it's something, it's been a bit of a project for me, working with many of the local officials here to make sure that we're building up our infrastructure, our transportation opportunities for people who live here and work here, making sure that we're attracting businesses. And you all are a hugely important part of everything that we think about for the future of Rockford and the surrounding region. I want to thank Director Richards, who really has done a spectacular job leading the Department of Commerce for the last few years. And yeah. We are working together to elevate manufacturing across the state of Illinois, and I can't think of anybody better to help us do that than Kristen, who knows state government well, which is an important feature of if you're going to work in government in a leadership role. Having government experience is vitally important. I didn't say that when I was running for public office because I didn't have any, but I have to say in attempting to put together a great team to move this state forward, it was very important to get people like Kristen in important roles to make sure that we're getting everything done across the state that's possible, knowing what the levers of government really are. Remember, I was in business before I was elected governor, and so, you know, government in general moves at about half the pace. Maybe I'm being generous of all of you and all of us who've been in the private sector, but that doesn't mean that government isn't capable of being hugely helpful in advancing the cause of our broader economy. So thank you to Kristen for everything that you've done. This Midwest Aerospace Conference is very important to highlight for the rest of the state, frankly, and the rest of the region, how important the aerospace industry really is. And you all know it, but the fact that many other people are learning about it, and this conference from many of you, is important to the future of the aerospace industry here and across the surrounding states and Canada. I want to offer a special thanks to the Illinois Manufacturing Excellence Center, the Rockford Area Aerospace Network, and Greater Rockford Chamber of Commerce, who made this year's conference possible. And of course, for the success that they've had and all of you have had making this region and our state a major player in the North American aerospace industry. I'd also like to thank our partners at the Illinois Manufacturers Association and Intersect Illinois, who've been instrumental in that same pursuit. And of course, I want to shout out to Rockford Mayor Tom McNamara, who has helped drive Rockford's thriving ecosystem for economic development. Rockford had been falling behind before he became mayor and before I got into the governor's office. And we both have worked together very closely, again, with other elected officials in this area to change the trajectory, and it's working. You all are here today charting the course for the future of aerospace, and you couldn't have picked a better place to do it. For generations, the Midwest, Illinois, Rockford especially, has played a leading role in this industry, reaching new heights in the skies and, of course, beyond. That success is fueled by our region's skilled workforce, our strong intersectional manufacturing base, and dynamic business environment. Midwest companies, large and small, are playing important roles in changing the course of history for the better. And that's no exaggeration. AAR is trusted by our Air Force and our Marine Corps to provide manufacturing and maintenance support to our armed forces. Forest City Gear in Roscoe manufactures the gears that make NASA's Mars rovers exploring a new, or help them explore a new world and make breakthrough scientific discoveries. Ingersoll Machine Tool, right here in Rockford, is crafting the next era of space exploration by manufacturing key parts for the NASA Artemis program. So let it be known around the world, our future is being built right here by companies right in this room. And we're just getting started. Here in Illinois, over the past 5 years, we've worked very hard to build on that foundation, bringing new jobs and creating new businesses. Those have been among my highest priorities as governor. As a former manufacturer before I became governor, it was clear to me that we needed to supercharge Illinois' economic development efforts, and that's working. We created a robust package of business incentives, targeted tax credits, a $400 million fund to attract more manufacturing investment and sustainable growth to our state. We've made massive investments in workforce development, from vocational training in our high schools to advanced manufacturing training academies at Illinois' community colleges, in addition to pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs. We recently announced our 5-year economic development growth plan, which you heard referenced by Kristen. It's a roadmap to long-term prosperity. It's something that started as a requirement by the General Assembly back in 2014. When I first came into office, we issued at least the first one under my leadership, and this was our second one, again, since I took office. And that plan focuses on the high-growth industries of the future, and you heard some of them from Kristen. I'll just repeat: quantum computing, clean energy, data centers, life sciences, and most importantly, aerospace manufacturing. We have already attracted billions of dollars into the manufacturing sector here over the last few years, including in clean energy and electric vehicles. We've doubled our renewable energy production, and we are a net energy exporter in the state of Illinois. And I want to just emphasize that for a moment, because people don't pay attention to the natural and the man-made advantages that we have in this state. One of the man-made advantages is that we have an enormous amount of energy production. Part of that is that we have about 53% of all the electricity that gets produced in the state is produced by nuclear reactors. There were years where people thought, oh, that's a terrible thing. Today, I think everybody understands that's an enormously beneficial thing. We have more nuclear reactors than any other state. Importantly, that 53% of the electricity is clean energy. And on top of that, when I came into office, we had 7.5% of our energy produced by renewable sources. We now have, well, it's approaching 20% of the production from renewable sources. We also have the third most reliable delivery of electricity in the entire country. I'd like to say it's number one because the other two states are small states. And to be a reliable energy provider where almost all the time the energy doesn't go down, your electricity doesn't go down in a big state like this, it's a big deal. And I think a couple of years ago, some of you saw what happened in Texas when there was a big storm and really electricity was out for quite some time. That just doesn't happen very often of any sort. Certainly in Illinois, it doesn't happen that our electricity goes out for any lengthy period of time across any big swath of the state. So we should all be very proud of that. I'll just add one big natural resource that often gets overlooked by people, and that is we sit on the shores of 20% of the world's surface fresh water. Now, that didn't used to be something that everybody bragged about, but in these days, when you see Colorado and Arizona and California running out of water, and frankly, if you look around the world, it's happening, having all the fresh water that we have, it's not just Lake Michigan, by the way, it's right all the rivers that surround us and go through the state of Illinois. This is a big plus for the future of our state, for manufacturing, and for livability. So very proud of those facts. You know, the state has become one of the largest data center markets in the world just over the last few years. We came from, I don't know, 15th or something on the list to being top 3. And this summer we launched the Illinois Quantum and Microelectronics Park, a research and development campus for this revolutionary new technology in which the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, will serve as an anchor tenant. We have really major technology companies that are focused on this park that we're in discussions with. It's a big thing that the University of Chicago, University of Illinois, Northwestern, those are some of the best quantum institutions in the entire world, and they happen to be in the state of Illinois. And I emphasize this just to say to you that we have huge opportunities ahead of us to take advantage of. I think if some of you have been around paying attention long enough, you may remember when the University of Illinois was the leader in the development of the internet. We had the biggest supercomputer and some of the biggest companies that have been created in the internet were created by people who came from the University of Illinois. YouTube, PayPal, the list goes on. What did they do? Those folks got up and left. And we can't let that happen in the development of what I think is going to be the major new technology of this century, and that's quantum. So we're not. And the result is people recognize around the country, the federal government is recognized by giving us more grants than any other state in the country for quantum development, and Illinois and Chicago are going to be the world's leader in quantum. So I just say all of that to let you know that we're paying attention to the development of industry in the state of Illinois. Those industries, even quantum, interact with your industry. You're going to see that you're going to be using quantum technology in just a few years, and it's going to be coming from this state to support you in this state, as well as companies across the globe. So I know I've veered away from aerospace, but I want you to know that you're all part of a very dynamic environment for broad industrial success. As governor of this state, I want to let you know, importantly, and I hope you'll reverberate this as you talk to others, but we're open for business. I mean, I am literally on the phone on a regular basis every week to CEOs, to companies all across the world. I just came back from Japan. We just came back from Japan on a trade mission where we had, I don't know, it felt like 17 meetings a day for 4 days in a row. We were there with the Illinois Manufacturers Association, leaders of our universities, and CEOs of our major companies. We're on the rise in the state of Illinois. Manufacturing is on the rise. And we're just at the front edge of a lot of really great progress. So I wanted to tell you that and ask you to, as you go through this conference and walk away, I hope you'll remember that we're ready to do business with all of you and the companies that you run into, your suppliers, and those that you are supplying. So thank you all very much for being here. Thanks for being a part of this conference, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Thank you.